हेलो माय डियर फ्रेंड्स। सो आज तक जो हमने पढ़ा है वो मैग्नेटिक सर्किट के बारे में पढ़ा है और मैग्नेटिक सर्किट के बेसिक्स के बारे में हमने जाना है। आज जो हम करने जा रहे हैं, आज हम उन बेसिक प्रिंसिपल्स को यूज़ करेंगे, उसको अप्लाई करेंगे टू अंडरस्टैंड अ वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट प्रिंसिपल ऑफ इलेक्ट्रिकल मशीन, दैट इज प्रिंसिपल ऑफ इलेक्ट्रोमैकेनिकल एनर्जी कन्वर्जन। Basically, this is all about converting electrical energy to mechanical energy. Uh, this could be done in two ways. Either directly you can convert from electrical energy to mechanical energy. There are machines to do that. And another way is to convert this electrical energy to magnetic energy and then to mechanical energy. The second method is more preferred, though it has got a higher number of stages, but it is more preferred just because of higher energy density in magnetic fields. So the volume of the machine decreases if we go on with the second option. So today we are going to do that, and we can see that magnetic circuit concept uh, will be essential to learn all these. And so I suggest, if you have not gone through my previous video, please just skip this and watch my previous video, and then come back and continue. Okay, I'll be using mm, one system which consists of a C core. Okay, so and in C core, leg of the C core, will be having our coil. Okay, and there is a plunger which is displaced by some distance from the C core. Plunger is made stationary and attached to a stationary object through a spring. So what we can see here, we will give electrical input to this coil, and this coil, it will generate the magnetic field in the magnetic material. Let us say this is phi, the flux. So we have got electrical input, let us say electrical energy. Now this electrical energy is developing magnetic field. So there will be some energy associated with that field. Mostly we write energy stored in an electric field as to be b square by 2 mu, or mu h square by 2. So as per the strength of the magnetic field, there will be some energy stored uh, in this field. So we can write it wf, and let us say there is some work done here because the plunger is movable. So let us assume that there is some work done. So in first case, let us say that not sufficient amount of electrical energy has been injected in the coil. ज्यादा हम लोग ने एनर्जी, इलेक्ट्रिकल एनर्जी नहीं दी है, जिसके कारण से ये प्लंगर मूव नहीं कर पा रहा है। अभी ये स्प्रिंग से कनेक्टेड है, तो स्प्रिंग कांस्टेंट बहुत ज्यादा है, तो अभी हम प्लंगर को मूव नहीं कर पा रहे हैं। तो we will consider that this Wm is 0 here. Okay, and there is just the input energy, which is altogether stored in the magnetic field. And also note that we are neglecting all the losses in this system, so that we can focus on the principle of electromechanical energy conversion. Okay, so as there is an electrical input, and let us say this is AC. So we are having a EMF induced across this coil E. Okay, so what will be the energy power input to this coil? It will be E into I, VI. Okay, so here that electrical energy input will be EI, and let us say we are studying for small time dt, so this will be like this. Okay, from 0 to t, let us say we are seeing the system from 0 to t. So we can say here E is equal to d lambda by dt, where lambda is the flux linkage with the coil. So putting it in this equation, we can see that uh, it is I d lambda. There is a relation between I and lambda that could be given by this curve I and lambda. So for linear system, uh, this will be a straight line, and so how this I and lambda is related? This is related by the inductance of the coil. So L is lambda by I. Okay, so here this lambda is tan theta, is L is tan theta. Okay, and so if we want to see this integral, it is what? It is just the area enclosed by this y-axis, the lambda, and the this straight line. So we can just see here. So this is d lambda. Okay, so if we go on integrating, we will get the left half section uh, of this left half section of this curve. So putting on this value, we can see that I is lambda by L d lambda. So if we go on integrating this from 0 to lambda, it will give half, or this is lambda square by 2L. This is the energy stored, energy input from the electrical side, and which is equal to the energy stored in the field. So we can see here, if we have got the flux linkage with the coil and inductance in this circuit, then we can calculate the energy stored in the field. But to do this, we need to calculate, solve this whole magnetic circuit and get this lambda, the phi. Then only we can calculate the energy stored in the magnetic field. But there is another way to do this. It is in terms of co-energy. Just it is um, it is recommended not to understand this co-energy as to be a physical quantity, like you have done in understanding the energy. You know, the energy is what, the ability to do work. So how much work that magnetic field can do, so that will be the energy stored in the magnetic field. But you have not to relate this co-energy concept like that. If you have got this curve I lambda, and there is a linear relation, and we get a rectangle here, then this left half, this diagonal is dividing this rectangle in two parts. The left part is, we know it has to be field energy, and the right part is our co-energy. So if we can write wf to be the integral of id lambda, then it is not difficult to understand that wf dash will be lambda di. Okay, so if we write lambda in terms of inductor and I current, so it will be L I di, where I is from 0 to, let us say I, we are changing from 0 to I, so it will be half Li square. This is a more familiar equation. This is the energy stored by an inductor. So by just we can see that as we have got the geometry of the electromagnet, so L will be decided um, at the beginning itself. Now this current could be measured by connecting a measuring instrument at the electrical input side. So by measuring this in current, we can tell that what is the energy stored in the magnetic field. So this is easier to express, and this is to be noted that your W field uh, energy WF uh, will be equal to the field co-energy. Okay, if we are calculating our co-energy, then we must understand it as to be the energy stored in the field. Now we have assumed here that there is no mechanical work done. So now let us go forward and include that as well. Let us say that we have given sufficient excitation and the plunger now can move. Now here the plunger is movable. So let us say that initial position is x1 and plunger moves to x2 position, or the plunger moves by dx length. Okay, this system can be understood in under two cases. In the first case, we will assume that this plunger is so moved that the d lambda by dt is maintained to be constant. This lambda is varying smoothly, and therefore this E will also be constant. And for E to be constant, V to be constant, the input voltage to be constant, your current will be constant. We can make the I lambda curve for the two position of plunger as given here. If we want to develop a I lambda curve, then for initial displacement, let us say this is our I lambda curve, and when the plunger is displaced by dx length, then the reluctance of the path will be less and higher flux will be can be taken out with smaller with the same current. So let us say this is the current I. Okay, so initial flux linkage is lambda 1 and the final is lambda 2. Okay, so we can we know that energy input is d omega E will be what? It will be I into d lambda, where lambda is varying from lambda 1 to lambda 2. So we can write it I lambda 2 minus lambda 1. Now if we go on and calculate the change in field energy, then what we can say, if we just give the points O, P, Q, S, T. Okay, so what is the initial field energy? So left section of this I lambda curve. So we can say that it is the O Okay, OQTO is the field energy at the initial position of the plunger. And what is the final? So final field energy is ORSTO. So it is ORSTO. This is the final uh, stored energy in the field, and we should take final minus the initial. So initial is this one and final is this one. So this is the change in field energy. So the above dwe in terms of this area, we can see it is TQRS. TQRS is the energy input, and so we can write dwe is equal to dwf plus dwm. So from here dwm could be written as the area of TQRS plus the area OQTO minus ORSTO. Just see this whole area, you can just see here it is OQRSTO. Okay, and when you subtract this ORSTO, then what it will be? It will be just OQRO. I will just mark out uh, this final area. So this is your uh, final change, final DWM, and you can see this as to be this final area is equal to this OPRO. Just see OPRO minus this OQO. This area could also be represented like this OPRO minus OPQO. So let us write it. It is OPRO minus OPQO. We can identify this as to be the change in co-energy. So our mechanical energy is equal to the change in co-energy. If we write this mechanical energy in terms of force and displacement, let us say F dx, then we can easily identify force as to be dwf dash upon dx. And mind you, here the current is constant. So force is acting on the movable device such as to increase the co-energy of the system. The same system can be studied in different terms. If we just try to maintain the flux as to be constant. I will just show you the process. Let us say this is for the initial x and this is for the displaced. So what we are doing, we are maintaining the lambda to be constant throughout the displacement of plunger. So let us say this has to be I1 and this has to be I2. So how this lambda could be maintained constant? This could be maintained constant by if you just uh, move the plunger very quickly. So you are changing the inductance, instantaneous inductance. You are maintaining lambda, but you are changing the inductance. So how you are doing? The system is not able to sense the displacement. So for a lesser air gap, the reluctance will be less, and for less reluctance, the inductance will be higher. So if we can say L1 I1 is equal to L2 I2, this L2 is higher than L1, and therefore I2 has to be lower than I1. So lesser current will generate the same amount of flux. So if we use this system, then what will be the input energy, electrical energy? If we will see, this will come out to be 0. Okay. So our expression will become dWm plus dWf will be equal to 0. So dWm will be equal to minus of dWf. So the mechanical output will be such as the force will be applied on the movable plunger will be such as to decrease the energy content of the field, and which is a natural process. In all the natural process, every system want to decrease the its own energy content. So here if we just break up our dWm, then we can write it as to be f dx equal to minus dWf. So f we can write it as dWf by dx, and where lambda is constant, mind you, here the lambda is constant. So if we just use this principle, uh, use this expression to calculate the force on our in our case, then what it will be? We know that we have calculated this, that the co-energy is half Li square, and this is, so we can write our force as to be the change in the rate of change of this co-energy with respect to the displacement, and here I will be maintained as to be constant. So using the expression here, what will be f? F will be half I square dl by dx. The force will be applied on the plunger so as to increase the inductance. And how the inductance will be can be increased? So we can see inductance is equal to n square reluctance. It is inversely proportional to the reluctance. So n you cannot change. So what the system will try? It will try to decrease the reluctance. And how it can decrease the reluctance? Just by decreasing the air gap length. So the force will be applied on the plunger so as to decrease the air gap length. The same concept when used in the rotating machines. So we can use here a rotating machine diagram. So let us take this as to be our core, and this has to be our rotating device which can move. So the force which you are talking in linear motions. In angular motion, that same force is represented by the torque, and the movement is in angular direction. So we can write the same equations as to be T is equal to d wf dash upon d theta, in where I is constant. Okay, and the same T can be taken as to be minus d wf upon dx, where lambda is constant. So in this is how will this system will act. So just see, if the current is there, it has got a flux. So now the torque will be applied on this rotatable angularly rotatable plunger, and the torque will be acting in such a direction as to minimize the reluctance of this magnetic path. So I can make a plunger position like this, that will decrease the reluctance path. So it will be uh, the uh, the soft iron will try to align with the core. This is also called as to be reluctance torque. Based on reluctance torque, we have got some machines like stepper motor, reluctance motor, uh, which uses this principle to convert your electrical energy into mechanical energy. So the concept is simple. The all the forces or torque that is applied on a electromechanical system, that will be equal to, that will be acting in a manner such as to minimize the energy stored in the magnetic field, or you can say to minimize the reluctance of the magnetic path. So this is for today. uh, in the next class, we will take the doubly excited systems, and we will derive the expression for torque for and see that how electromechanical energy conversion can be applied in a doubly excited system. So till then, goodbye. Thank you.